Yeah,
do something.
we're good, thank you. Let me
Really?
just, it's telling us you're recording it, so we've got to say got it. There we are.
It's a new, there's been a new update on it with all sorts of different things. What I think might be a good idea, I know we're going to look at separation.
Yeah.
I'm just jotting down, is there anything else you'd like to talk about while we're at it?
No, I think it's really just that. He's done really well in terms of progress with other dogs.
Lovely to hear, really
yeah,
lovely to hear.
That's really, really good. He's so much better on lead. If a dog rushed him on lead unexpectedly, he'd still be a bit unhappy.
Well, so wouldn't most dogs? Wouldn't, I mean, that's natural, wouldn't we, if somebody did that to us?
Yeah, but that's the only, that's the only time there's ever been an issue with off lead. He's happy. He's actually even approaching other dogs selectively to
that's great,
say hello to, and even a bit more playful. So
shows that patience pays off, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
Well, what I think might be an idea, because if we're just going to be dealing with one thing, and we have a good look at the whole separation issue and get a plan going, it might be more help to do about half an hour and do another half hour in a couple of weeks' time, do it in 2 halves, because we can see how you're getting on that way.
Yeah.
So tell me what's happening now, so I know where we are.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember, because it's a while ago that we spoke before. So the suggestion was that we change the setup when we left him, so he would go in the living room with the door shut, so he can see the garden, but no access to the front door or the rest of the house, and playing some music on Alexa by the front door to sort of mask any sounds outside that might be triggering anything. So we've put all of that in practice. We leave a scented something, item of clothing for him. He's got an Adaptil collar. We did try an Adaptil plug-in as well, but it didn't seem to make any difference, and they're expensive, so I just sort of gave up with that. And we're doing the other sort of the day-to-day stuff, the snuffle mat, the lick mats, all the sort of stuff,
all the stuff just to make him generally settled as possible.
Yeah, more settled, and he's definitely more settled generally. But what happens when we go out, we can see on the camera. So he's still happy for us to go out. He's not bothered when we go. He'll come out to the kitchen because he knows he's going to get a treat when we go. I'm generally doing a lick mat actually now rather than a biscuit or something, because I think that's perhaps better for him. And he's happy when we leave him, but it can be a variable period of time. It can be 10 minutes, it could be 25 minutes. After that, he'll start to bark periodically.
What is he doing when he's barking?
So
looking at the door.
He could be laying on his back, laying on the sofa, legs up in the air. He doesn't look stressed or anything.
So you're assuming it's because he doesn't want to be alone?
Well, we are. I mean, the thing is, I wouldn't say that he doesn't ever look stressed, because he does sometimes go to the door. But actually, when he does that, he just looks. He doesn't bark or do anything. He just looks, or he might lay there and look. But he'll literally, he'll stand at the window and the patio door and bark. He'll lay on his back on the sofa with his legs in the air and bark. He'll lay on his side on the floor and have a bark.
But is it a continual sort of bark or just a few woofs?
No, so he'll bark for a fefew minutes.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah, he'll bark for a few minutes and then he'll stop. And then it might be, it varies again. You can't put a figure on exactly how long it will be. It could be another 5 minutes. It could be another 25 minutes. And then he'll start again.
It's weird, isn't it? Because it doesn't sound like anxiety, does it?
No.
It could be boredom.
Possibly.
Yeah, it's very odd. Does he do the same things when you're at home? Does he just have barking bouts like that when you're at home?
Doesn't bark really. Well,
no, I mean, the only time is when he's got a playful bark, when when they do the sort of play bow and the head on the floor barking, and he'll bark then when he wants to play and he's up to mischief. But other than that, no. I mean, the only thing would be the doorbell, which we've
Well,
tried sort of desensitizing.
that
and
is the other thing, of course. He wouldn't be lying on the sofa with his legs in the air if he hears the doorbell, though, would he? But it would certainly make him bark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose you've got no way of telling. You don't hear it on the camera, do you, if it's the doorbell?
Good, because we've got the sound on, so we would hear, and I usually play it back afterwards so that I can see if there has
It
been
might be
anything
vehicles
particular.
outside, I suppose, mightn't it?
Sorry?
Might be a vehicle going passing or stopping.
Don't think he can hear that from, well, I don't know, their hearing's more sensitive than ours, but I would say that if he's in the living room and he's got music playing by the front door, there's probably very little that he'll hear. And I think that is probably likely, because when we pull, if he's quiet when we actually pull onto the drive in the car, he doesn't react, get off the sofa until he hears the front door go.
All right.
So he's not reacting to the car pulling onto the drive. He's not hearing that.
It's very strange. When you've noticed him do it, do you ever come back while he's barking?
No.
Because it's just possible, because it doesn't sound like anxiety, really. It doesn't really sound like he's alarmed. So what have we got left? We've got either because he's feeling a bit bored and he would quite like you to come home, please, or that he needs more to do. You know, and if he has sort of connected you coming home with his barking, then that could be a possible thing, couldn't it?
It's funny because so we watch him periodically while we're out.
Yes.
And I can't think of a time at all recently where we've actually pulled up and he's been barking, because we watch him on the phone as we
understand.
arrive. Yeah. Okay. So I can't think of any occasion where we've come back when he has actually been barking.
Well, when you're at home and he barks like that, which he does sometimes, I suppose, what do you do then?
So if it's a playful bark, then we'll start.
Just let him go with it.
Yeah. Well, we'll give him something to play with. Yeah, we'll play.
So maybe that's what he wants. Maybe that's what he's asking for.
Yeah.
Very odd, isn't it?
It's really hard to fathom. I just can't work it out. And for a dog that was so happy to be left before we moved house, I know the setup was completely different, but it's just really strange.
Yeah. I'm wondering, can you speak through your camera?
Yeah, I tried that, but that seemed to make him upset.
Did it?
Yeah.
If you, what you could perhaps do, where does he spend most of his time when you're out? On the sofa, in his bed, where?
On the sofas usually, isn't it?
On the sofa or the floor.
And he does, when he's barking, is he most likely to be on the sofa or not?
No, it varies.
It varies. Yeah. It does vary. He can be on the floor, he can be laying on the floor, he can be standing. Sometimes he's climbing on the back of the sofa. That's a new thing which he's decided to do while we're out, which he doesn't
lay
do
along
when
the
we're
top
home.
of the back of the sofa, which he used to do at the old house.
Yes, yeah.
Can you see out from there or something?
Doesn't make any difference.
And have you had complaints from the neighbours?
One side, when we moved in, told us that he was barking a lot, and she was a bit, she was all right. She was negative, but she was a bit odd. But she's a bit odd anyway. We've learned that she's a little bit odd anyway, but we're not attached to them. The people we're attached to also have a dog.
Who barks
a bit.
Oh, good.
But they're really brilliant. We've spoken to her, and she's really said, please do not worry if he barks. If he barks, he barks. It doesn't bother us. Don't worry about it.
When we moved in, the first words she said to us was, "I hope you don't mind the dog barking."
Funnily enough, it's my first words to my new neighbours as well when I got here.
No, we haven't got any neighbour issues at the moment.
Well, we've got two choices really. One is to work on it as if it was anxiety and see if we can tighten up the plan. And the other is thinking, well, just possibly he's bored and giving him more to do.
I mean, I wonder honestly if it's a mixture of the two, that he's upset at being left because he is a dog that craves company.
As you see.
Yes, yeah.
But I also wouldn't be surprised if there's an element of boredom.
Yeah.
The problem with the boredom thing, I never know what to do, because we've got like the treat puzzles and things like that, but he works those out in 2 minutes flat, and it's done.
No, I suppose with what I normally think of about leaving things like lick mats and bones and stuff is that what you want is for your dog to settle, and instead you're giving him all these things which keep him awake and lively, you know. So
Right.
I mean, if it was a dog that was you knew it was anxious, I would probably not suggest giving him too much to do, because you really want to work on him being settled and relaxed while you're away and not frantically working at something. But I suppose the sort of thing you could leave would be a bone, you know, a raw bone, because that would take him a long time, and he would come to it and go away from it and come back to it, and you know, it's something which doesn't disappear quickly.
Yeah.
And he could, if he feels bored, go back to it and then pick it up when you came home. And again, it's worth a try. I think it may be a question of dabbling in a few things and seeing what happens.
Yeah.
That would be something that would occupy him. If it was a nice, heavy, thick sort of raw bones, he's not going to get bits breaking off, because like, you know, if it was a cook bone or anything.
Yeah, the cook bones splinter, don't they? But raw bones are safe, aren't
exactly.
they?
You want something of butcher's marrow bone sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he'd probably love that. Does he have guarding tendencies?
No, not at all.
Right. So well, you could give it to him when you go. You try it out. Go out for half an hour and just see what happens.
Yeah, it's worth a try.
And see if he gives up on it. See if he's bone, if he then stops the bone and then starts barking, which makes me think he's probably heard something. Because he would love a bone, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he would. He'd enjoy that.
That'd be one thing. Another thing would be at talking through the thing, but don't just start talking through it from nowhere. Teach him by talking through your phone, he can hear it coming out of the thing, to do something for you, like in your bed or on the sofa or whatever it is, to get him to do something you've taught him to do. Teach him to do it through the phone.
Right.
Through the thing. And then
go when we're here, and then
when you are here. So he's not going to get alarmed or anything, but he's going to hear it coming out of that. And then when he's obviously you teach him and give him a reward, but you're going to have to stop the rewards and do good boy instead fairly soon, because you want to be doing the same thing through the phone, and then you get him all distressed because he's not getting his reward. Yes, you know, some of these fancy things you have, they can dispense treats as well. So what about that then? Teach him using your phone through the camera. Teach him something like somewhere to go. Or to settle, or to lie down, or do something that you can teach him through it. And then experiment with that. But I think the first thing we do it in the room, next thing do it just outside the door, so he can still hear you talking. Okay. And then when you're somewhere else in the house, when you perhaps don't hardly hear you. So I'm sure that way he won't be excited or disturbed at hearing your voice coming out of the camera.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You could practice pretty quickly. The minute he starts talking, you could say to him, "That's okay, Archie, good boy, go and lie on your what's it."
Yeah.
In that sort of way. So you respond quite quickly. And just try it out.
Yeah.
And the third thing really would be to treat it like anxiety, and let's have a go over all that again. So, I mean, there won't be any harm in doing that. I mean, you can do that anyhow, and the other things. First is exactly what you're doing. Pick the best place where he's most likely to feel, to feel secure, and as you are away from the front door, so he hasn't got too much stimulation from things which might come in. What music are you doing?
So it's reggae, actually, by the front door, because after I heard the Victoria Stilwell podcast, I thought I'd give that a try.
Very good for fireworks. Yeah, it's a little bit more noisy than calm music, isn't it?
Yeah.
The other one to try is taiko, I think they call them taiko drums.
Oh, okay.
Taiko drums on YouTube. They're very good sort of fireworks because it's a lot of drumming, very rhythmical drumming. It makes a very good background noise because it's fairly hard to tell a bang from the.
Yeah.
Have a look. Ask Alexa to play. I think you pronounce it taiko drums.
Taiko drums. Okay.
I think Alexa might play some things on that.
Mm-hmm.
So that is really the environment. Another thing you could try is, instead of the Adaptil, if you do get a plug-in, try a Pet Remedy plug-in.
Right.
It's called Pet Remedy.
Right. You write that down, Martin.
That might be worth a go.
Yeah.
What they're anti-anxiety, that type thing, calming.
Yeah.
And of course, you can then put it in the room where you're leaving him, so it's not spread all over the place.
Yeah.
And then you use, when you do go out, you use the same ritual, don't you?
Yes. Yeah.
With my dogs, I mean, when we first moved in, they were quite unsettled. And actually, they did bark when I was out. But now they're absolutely fine. I use the same ritual as I use in my own house. About to go out, what we do, we lock the door. It is behind me. We lock the door. We pull the dog bed out. You pick up keys and things, and they just go and settle on the bed and say, "Back soon, guard the house," or something silly like that. We make the same thing, and I think it's a question of having whatever ritual you have, sticking to it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
As soon as we lock the door, they know that we're going out.
Yeah.
And then I don't do it with mine, but I would if they showed any signs of distress, and also maybe if there was just one of them. I would synchronize my goodbye with a bit of food, so that my walking out the door was associated with something nice.
Yeah.
But in his case, it's going to be boredom. It's going to be a bone, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we'll definitely try that.
And then the other thing with the separation, which I don't think it is. I don't think it really is. It doesn't sound like it, but I would say that it's important to come back before the dog gets distressed. But he's not distressed, is he? It sounds to me like just random barking.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't howl, he doesn't cry, he doesn't pace around and pant.
He's not destroying things.
No.
He's not.
The only thing I can think of, having remembered coming to see you, he's quite sort of demanding, isn't he, in a way, for attention and all the rest of it. So
very.
He's quite sort of dependent on you for everything.
Yes.
Not very good at being independent.
No, he's not.
So that might be a little angle to work on, is just start sometimes shutting doors if you're going out of the room.
Right.
Same time, drop a bit of food. So he gets used to being separated from you briefly, because it seems to me it's very all or nothing. He's all over you and very near you, or you're out. So you could help him be a bit more independent by getting him a bit more used to being by himself when you're in.
Yeah.
But not enough to distress him, of course. That's one thing I would do. Also, along the same lines, give yourself 5 minutes at a time when you're not going to respond to his demands for fuss. So deliberately think, well, okay, every such and such a time, every night or whatever, well, I'm going to give him 5 minutes. He's going to come jumping all over me fuss. I'm just not going to give him. I'm going to say, that's all right, good boy, not now. Just to, just to get him used to not having you available all the time, because it could be as simple as that, couldn't it?
It could, and honestly, that probably is a big failing, really, that on our part, because he is very demanding and he will pester all day for attention.
Yes, I bet you that's got a lot to do with it. Yeah,
so maybe what we need to do is, through the day when he is doing that, sometimes don't respond to it.
Exactly, and maybe start teaching him when he's demanding. You could teach him the thing that you're going to teach him through the speaker, through the phone. That's right. What he's going to try to get that. So when you're in the house, you can say, go and lie down, or whatever she's going to say to him, starting through the phone, so that he does it when you're in the house perfectly happily, so that then it's not only going to be something you ask him to do when you go out.
So if he demands attention, is it better to ignore him and just see?
One, isn't it? My pickle's very demanding. I would say,
or give him something else to do, or say, for instance, say, go and lie down, or
yes. First of all, I would give him attention make sure you initiate attention more rather than just waiting for him. So he gets a good lot of attention under your initiation.
Yeah.
So he begins to realize that attention isn't always as a response to what he's doing.
Right.
It's something
Yeah.
coming from you. So I'm not saying necessarily don't give him attention, but try to make more of it from you, so that when he wants attention, you can do something like say, not now, not now. And then you can say, go and to your bed or whatever it's going to be. Or if he persists, just get up and walk out. I think you might have to be a little bit tough.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's not actually very good for him any more than it would be for a child to be totally needy in that way all the time, is it?
No, it really isn't. And I think you might have hit a really sort of salient point there, because he is very demanding and needy, and we do give into that a lot, don't we? We've always sort of, just.
I'm not suggesting you suddenly withdraw all that.
No, of course
just
not.
do short periods, say 5 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Of just saying, no, I'm not going to do that now. And if he pesters too much, get up and walk out.
Yeah.
And that, make sure when you come back, and okay, all's nice and right, now we'll do something.
Yeah.
So you sort of turn it around a bit, that it's going to come from you.
Yes, rather than him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think that's definitely
do it gradually. See if you can wean him away from doing this quite so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I suppose things like the lick mat is a good idea here, because if you want to leave him alone in the room while you say go and have a shower or go to the loo or something, you can give him something actually so that he actually quite likes being by himself, because he's occupied and something he likes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a really good suggestion.
It's difficult, isn't it? What's quite fun about this job is that, you know, it's the detective work, isn't it?
Yeah. It's unraveling it, isn't it? And then what we've done, I've just found a nice lady who dog sits. Well, she's got very experienced doggy daycare and all the rest of it, that is willing to come. So I don't mind too much from the neighbour point of view if he barks a bit during the day when we're out, but if we went out for a meal in the evening and he's got to be left a little bit longer or something like that, I just don't want him disturbing them barking away in the evening when they're trying to sit and relax. They both work.
Yeah, and it's not good for him either. If he's having a good bark,
it isn't good for him.
He's getting more and more stressed, whatever the underlying reason is. It's not good for him to do it.
It's not good for him. No, absolutely. So from that point of view, we thought maybe while we're working on it, at least, and then maybe for just longer periods at other times, is get her to come in and she'll sit with him. So for instance, we're going out for a meal tonight. She met him the other day. She came around, stayed for an hour and met him, and she's coming this evening to sit.
That's good. You can have a meal and with peace of mind and enjoy it.
We don't have to worry, because all the time now we're just watching the phone, watching the camera, stressing because we think he's stressed or he's upset.
Yeah. And
we can't enjoy ourselves. So we've stopped going out, really, haven't we? We've sort of limited what we do, which isn't great. But she's very good, very experienced. And to be honest, I think with him often it's just that he just likes somebody to be there.
Yes, it's not like he's over attached to you. Anybody would do almost.
Anyone would do, yeah.
Exactly. So that is much less of a problem than the dogs are so over attached that one particular person leaves and their world collapses.
Yeah.
But I think he just wants the action, doesn't he? And the attention. Yeah. And no doubt she will do exactly what he wants when he wants as well.
Yeah. Well, she might not actually. She's very experienced, isn't she? So I think.
All right. She might actually. Yes, she might have a new relationship from the word go.
And she is actually a behaviourist as well. Interestingly, she's done a lot. Name? She's a very interesting lady. Amber Wenham. So her company is called Pet Paws and More, I think it's called. Right. But she used to live in America. She's American, and she did dog care out there for 10 years before she came to the UK. But she's also done animal training, dolphins and all sorts of things. So she's a very interesting person.
Oh, right. So she's done all clicker training and all that stuff.
Yeah. So
because that's what they do.
Yeah, very experienced. But usually in the evening, if there would be somebody with him, if we go out and our friend comes to sit with him so that he's not alone and barking, he will just go to sleep.
Fine. Well, yes. So that's interesting as well. So in the evening, normally, if everything's happy, he goes to sleep. He's not too demanding. He's not particularly demanding if you go out in the evening. So when you go out, have you tried going out in the evening and watched him?
Yeah, and he did the same. He wouldn't settle.
All right. So it's not yes, it's not only that he wants to be doing things with you all the time, is it? Because he doesn't normally do it in the evening.
No, he doesn't. No, because he'd normally be, as soon as he's had his dinner, he's fast asleep, and that's him out for the evening. Usually he might get up once for a wee or stretch his legs or have a drink, but no, he's out for the evening. But
So
if we go and leave the house,
he wakes up.
He wakes up and he won't settle back down again.
Right. I think that perhaps it's just because you're there all the time, and doing what he wants more or less all the time. And I'm not saying that critically.
No, I know. No, I appreciate that. Totally understand. And it's good for them to be independent. And actually, he does need to learn to be a bit more independent of us. Because we've got to go away for 10, well, we are going away for 10 days in June. We're going to visit Martin's daughter in America, and we've got a chap that home boards, which would be good. But this would probably be beneficial in terms of leaving him then as well.
Well, you need to leave him a few times before then, don't you?
Oh,
because
yeah, he will.
To feel abandoned, do you?
Yeah. No, he's going to go and stay a few times with overnights with him, and he's going to do some day sessions with him as well before we go.
You are working hard at it, aren't you? Lucky
we
you.
are trying, honestly, we're trying everything. And I think that's the frustrating thing. I sometimes feel like we're just going round in circles.
Sometimes it's a question of just getting to the cause, the reason, isn't it? Somehow finding out just why it's happening.
Yeah.
I think it is possibly just that you're on tap all the time to do what he wants. And then when you're not on tap to do what he wants. Oh, yeah. And that in itself is a bit distressing if he's
shout about it. Yeah.
I mean, in the evening, he can afford to settle, there you are, because he knows if he does want something, he'll get it.
Yeah. He knows we don't go anywhere. We'll be there.
If you want anything at all, there you are. When I came to see you, was it in the evening?
No, daytime.
Yeah. Can't remember now.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what I think? I think we've done half an hour. And what I would do if I were you is save the other half hour, and in sort of 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
See how we're doing.
And see how you're doing, and we'll go through it again. We might actually find that by process of elimination, we still haven't got to the real cause of it.
Yeah.
But then we'll pick it up and do the rest.
But we've got things to try, and that's a good thing, because I think that's because we've tried so many things that just don't seem to be working, that we got to the point of we don't know what else to do now. So at least we've got some other things to try. So that's good.
I'm sure the things you already do are helping to a certain extent. You know, certainly having him in that room and not having him near the door, and keeping him feeling safe and all those things. But what Martin says about him lying on his back on the sofa barking, little monkey.
Well, he is being a monkey. That's not distress, is it? That's and now you probably can't hear him, but he's actually sitting next to Martin, looking at him now and whinging.
Yes, because we're not paying attention. Would start touching him, wouldn't he?
So on the other hand, because sometimes I work from home.
Yes.
And I'm sitting up at the table on my laptop, and more often than not, he'll go and curl up.
It's a funny thing, isn't it? Because my pickle here, he's asleep on the chair. Now he was getting up and walking around while I was setting this up, and I thought, I'm probably going to have to go into another room. But he seems to know when I'm doing this.
When you're working, yeah.
Yes, I'll bet you anything. When I've stopped, he's going to be a pain.
Yeah, it's not just us. Okay, that's absolutely brilliant.
Well, what I'll do, I'll stop the recording and I'll email you the recording as usual. Okay, and shall I send it on Facebook Messenger?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just send you the recording.
Yeah.
Because you might like to play it back for the general ideas, the detail and the ideas.
Yeah.
And see how you go.
Okay, and I'll book another one in 2-3 weeks, something like that.
That's right, and I'll send you the link.
All right.
Direct to it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's a nice to have a puzzle. And you. Lovely to see you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.